Victor.
Yes, Gordon.
Alright, I'm gonna make this big. I don't even know where to start. So the questions that I was just asking you, like, I wanted to know, within the first, say, like, what was your first breakthrough with Kelvin stuff, and like, what made you realize that it actually worked for you? And what did you work on first? Which article do you remember reading first? And then what did you try at the range first? And did it work? Did it fail? Like, what happened?
The very first thing I read from Kelvin, I think, was one of his first articles where I think it was really old when he was talking about like arm speed or something.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like it had nothing to do with what he does now. It was like arm speed or something like that. And I think I went to the range and started doing that, and I was like, "Well, this is retarded." And so I kind of blew it off a little bit, and I started reading more of his newer ones, and then the one that stuck out to me the most was because like at the time I was trying to get lag, because I was tired of flipping it, so when I wanted to look cool and have lag and all this crap.
Mm-hmm.
So it was the how to hold lag article, and then I took the measurements that he was using on how he judged it, and I started trying to do that on my own. So it was like, wow, I have like none. So I started. That's when I really started filming too. And I'd say that was the first thing. I just went to the range and then just tried to copy some of the. I didn't know any of the movements. I couldn't read the articles for crap. I just tried to copy the pictures and tried to get into some of those positions like that.
Yeah.
And that was pretty much how it all started.
Cool. And like getting leg is one thing, and what else? Like, what was what was the next big article? Well, Kelvin had a couple very simple kind of articles at the beginning, and then holding leg, and then release patterns, and then he had body movements, and then spine engine stuff came about, and club face stability. So what happened in the first, like, once you started focusing on leg? I remember you told me too, you were doing drills where your only goal was to hit balls and not let the shaft pass your left arm through impact, and hold it as long as possible.
I did that. I want to say I did that for a good almost 6 months. I mean, during that time, I was really trying to start to understand the other articles. Like, I was reading them nightly, just over and over and over. Yeah. But I wasn't really working anything yet. All I wanted to do was I just went to a range and I started hitting golf balls, almost as chip shots to start with, and just not, just really bowling it through and just not letting the shaft on the club head past the handle ever.
Yeah.
And then I wanted to make sure I wasn't doing it by just sticking it in the ground. I really wanted to learn to really pull it through. And then I just wanted to really get my right elbow in front of my hip, because I had always been so stuck. So I really wanted to get that right elbow in front of my hip, and then I just wanted to start pulling the handle ahead of the club, and that's what I did for about 6 months until I just started making it a little bit bigger, a little faster.
Yeah.
Then I started working on pulling the left arm away from my chest. The more I started to read into the articles, the more I started to do that by swinging. It made it easier to get to the positions I was trying to get to.
Yeah.
Because then I started external rotation on my shoulder, and radial deviation, and pull away from my chest. And so the more I started to understand them, the easier it got, and I started to notice pretty big differences in my iron distance. Really pretty quickly. My driver distance, not so much. My iron distance, I think I gained probably 2 clubs in 6 months.
Nice.
That way trying. Yeah, I was going from pitching wedges, like 115, 120 yard club, then I was hitting him, 140. Like, holy shit.
Yeah. I remember when I saw you hitting in my first kind of Muni little skins tournament with you. You were consistently 2-3 clubs longer than me, and like I was hitting it okay at that time. I was really focusing on getting distance at that time, even with my huge roll and stall and slide. And you were crushing it past everybody that was there, and there were some +3, 4 handicaps there that are just smashing it. Lots of college kids and
I remember the very first time I think I ever talked to you. It was on hole 13. It was 13.
Yeah.
And I had asked if you were like a mini tour player or something.
Why, thank you.
Because I had liked your swing, because I said, I wasn't really into the whole what really is a good swing yet. You know? I was just trying to get lag. But I liked your swing. I was like, oh, your swing was good. Da, da, da.
Yeah.
Now you know it was a piece of crap.
Yeah. Oh, it still is. But yeah, man. Yeah, those were cool times. Those were really cool times. And seeing you just annihilate it. I was at Torrey and at the Human and watching people hit, and I just remember thinking you were, you're hitting the ball as well as I saw guys there at that time, and I thought that was really cool. So that's when I asked you about Kelvin, or I asked you about what are you doing differently. What is your who's your coach?
Yeah.
What are you thinking about? I was all about swing thoughts then because I didn't think that.
Yeah.
I didn't understand what the body was really supposed to be doing. So it was what is your swing thought? But and then so you when you first started with Kelvin, what was your game like with your driver? Or say the month before Kelvin, what was your game like as far as ball striking goes? Could you paint a picture for me right now?
Before Kelvin, I was like a 3 handicap with with a staff back who thought he was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Because I was a really good high school player. I hit it maybe. I hit it 260, 260 on a good day.
Yeah. And how about your driver straightness? Were you hitting tons of fairways or 50%?
I was relatively straight just because I was hitting it so short.
Yeah.
It was like I always say, it's hard to miss a fairway when you're hitting at 230.
Yeah.
So I was pretty straight. It was just never solid.
What was your stock?
I hit a lot of cuts.
Yeah.
A weak little fade all the time.
Yeah.
That's pretty much my ball flight. It's the high weak fade.
Oh, really?
Down the middle.
How about what were you hitting? How far are you hitting your 7-iron at that time?
150-ish.
Yeah. And then that gives a bit of an idea. And then And then how about when I saw you at the Muni, so that's 6 months later after focusing on leg and doing all the drills and reading some articles.
I was hitting it 190-ish.
7-iron 190.
Now I can hit it pretty comfortably.
Yeah, that's insane. And Sting still helped the resolution on this too. It cut it a little bit. Yeah, that's retarded. To be politically correct, that's insane. That's amazing. Yeah. So and then from there, so I think it was when I left the desert, you did the video with what's his name, Christo.
Yeah.
And that was kind of cool. Your swing, you said, still wasn't great, right?
Oh no. I was hitting it. That's to the point where I had gotten a lot longer.
Yeah.
I had already done a Remax thing. I had hit 400 yards already by then.
Yeah.
Not like I do now.
Yeah.
Back then I was getting through Remax things, hitting it 340, 350.
Yeah.
Now I am one of the top 10 longest balls at Remax last year. So I was long, but I wasn't where I'm at now.
That's so insane.
I was still pretty wild back then, though. I was still trying to learn the whole body movements in the club phase.
Yeah.
And even though Kelvin's work has kind of changed even since then too. Focusing on different things.
Yeah.
Which is helping get even longer.
Yeah.
Better now. So.
Yeah. No
my
doubt.
swing has kind of changed along with Kelvin's teachings. It's kind of been where he's kind of I don't know how to put it. He's kind of updated some of his stuff and was this was still good, but I don't want you focusing so much on that, you kind of overdoing it and stuff like that. So where he's kind of changed, my swing's kind of changed with it.
Yeah.
So
cool.
It's been going for the better. I haven't gotten worse yet. So
yeah. I know when you were gearing up for long drive for the just qualification, and then when you made Worlds, and then when you almost made the final 8. But the previous say 6 months, I remember you sending me club head and ball speed little clips and videos and stuff, and it was insane. I remember I saw your club head speed went to the 120s, and then to the 130s, and then to the
one. I got into the 40s.
Yeah. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, that blew my mind too. That was it was weird how overnight when I don't know, it took me like a good month of really trying. Like even right now, if I go to the swings, because I'm not really training for long drive, I'm probably going to be in the mid 30s, mid low 30s.
Yeah.
But give me like a month and I can get it right back up to 40.
Yeah.
And it's just exaggerating some of the moves more.
Yeah.
Really getting that, just firing all the moves harder.
Yeah.
But, I can get it back. Yeah, no, that tripped me out too, because I've been in there. I qualified for right before regionals, and I was hitting like max like 130. And then, so I mean, I hit it 404 up there, and it was, it ran out. It was a perfect ball,
Yeah.
I probably swung like 132-ish, but I had really good spin, so I went to 404.
Yeah.
And then, but everything else was like 380-ish still.
Yeah.
And then, I was like, well, fuck, I'm not going to do anything in Worlds like this, I'm not trying to, I thought I was going to be on TV. I'm not trying to embarrass myself on TV. I got longer. So that's when I was doing it. I worked on the same movements. I just started trying to do them harder and faster and faster and faster.
Yeah.
And then it ended up being what it was. And the fastest I got was like 142, which isn't the fastest in the world, but it was faster than most. The right ball flight, I fill the grid up, spin, I did a 419 up there. I was out of 6 balls, 4 of them were over 400 yards. The other 2 were, 390. And one of them was 419. So it's consistently 400 yards.
And one was just outside of the grid, right? You pretty much hit the grid 6 times.
Yeah.
So that's where it's insane. Like, how can a person be that long and be that straight? And that's where people. It's a toss up for so many people. It's like if I the old slogan, the old kind of saying like the woods is full of long hitters or whatever.
Yeah.
That's what Kelvin's dispelled, and that's what you've kind of shown to be not true, right?
Am I the most accurate player on the planet? No, of course not, because my margin of error is so much smaller than everybody else.
Yeah.
So am I ever gonna be leading accuracy on the PGA Tour? No, but look at Dustin Johnson. I think he had a week where he was the most accurate and the longest. So
greens and reg, right?
You can do it. I'm not the least accurate player on the planet for sure. If I miss it, it's gonna miss big. Yeah, probably. Cause it's gonna go 400 yards. But if I'm trying to rein it back a little bit, really focus on accuracy, I can hit a lot of fairways. So and that's just because of how I release the club. It's not a lot of. My misses aren't really curvy misses. Like it's not like a slice or like a snap hook.
Yeah.
It's gonna be more of like a dead pull or a dead push. It doesn't have a lot of curving on it because my rate of closure is pretty low. So it's gonna be more of a straight miss, more of a block or more of a pull.
And what do you do personally when say you hit a pull or a push? Say you hit a pull. What's your next feel or the next thing you do biomechanically to maybe change that? Or do you know right now how to change it pretty quick, or what's your?
Usually, if I hit a pull, it's I hit it off the heel, and then
really?
I just kind of felt my message come from I'm still working on with my driver. I get a lot of right pelvic tilt in my downswing.
Yeah.
I kind of I come too far for the aim aside. Then that swing at those pushes, or can I heel it? So
yeah.
I really just kind of work on this. If I hit like a dead pull, I'm just gonna work on holding the club face, square longer, and then. Just try and rotate a little bit better, and that seems to fix it most of the time.
Yeah.
As soon as I start sliding more, that's when I start missing it everywhere.
Yeah. And to take a step back, you've been doing Kelvin's stuff and looking at his research, and then applying it, and you've had an iPhone 6 for a year now?
No, like 3 or 4 months.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, and it hasn't been that long.
Yeah, that's awesome. And so, the progression of you changing your swing, it's been tough. It's been 2.5 years. Yeah. You had a decently kind of athletic, swinging.
Yeah, I was a pretty good high school golfer. I was. Yeah. When I was 16, I made like a $2,500 check on main tour. So I could golf. I could still golf.
Yeah.
It was not that I sucked, but it wasn't good enough to be.
Yeah.
Where I'm trying to be, trying to get to the PGA Tour, and I knew it wasn't PGA Tour level golf.
Mm-hmm.
So that's, I was kind of relying a lot on short game and, stuff like that to kind of get me along.
Yeah. And how about, how much effort have you put into put into changing your swing? Like hours, energy, thought, reading,
Yeah,
drills. You know, ball. How
my
many balls have
day,
you hit? All that.
my day when I was going to swing when I wasn't working, it would literally be wake up about 7, go to the range and film and just hit balls in like super slow motion for I'd say a good 5-6 hours. Then go to lunch, go to the gym, try and work on some
Strength.
just mirror work basically, and just a mirror work in the
Okay.
gym. And then go home and read Kelvin's articles for like 4 hours, and then look in the mirror in my room, and then try and match that stuff on there.
Yeah.
Like it was really all day, every day, nothing but trying to get the moves in my swing. It still took me, I'd say, before you noticed a pretty decent difference.
Yeah.
I'd say a year to get from where I was to now. It's been about 2 years.
Wow.
And I mean that was grinding it out.
Yeah.
So you can't change much in a day.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah. And that what's crazy too is when you give a hands-on lesson with someone, because you've ground through all the changes and you feel them in your body.
Yeah, so I can feel when they're in like a bad position, I can kind of feel it, and then so when I put them in a good position, I know what the exaggeration feels like.
Yeah.
Like I know, like it feels awkward, but I know what that awkward feels like. So I kind of tell them like this is how it's gonna feel. Like if I'm trying to get someone more on the right side, like it's gonna feel like this.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
But it works. So that's because I've had a bad swing and a good one. I kind of know.
Yeah.
I know how it feels to change it. So that's it's been a pretty big thing in helping me teach people is I know what they're going through.
Yeah, it's gonna feel like garbage right off the bat, right?
Yeah.
And a person like the different moves that Kelvin's research that work and that all the best are using, they're very athletic moves, and a lot of people don't know how, and they can't, and they just don't move athletically. So when a person gets into those positions, it's a whole new way they're moving their bones, muscles, ligaments,
fascia, their bones.
Yeah.
And
they're not used to it.
It feels awful to be athletic for some people.
Yeah. It's kind of for me. It's kind of for me.
Unathletic. Some people will be like, "Oh, this feels so good. Oh, yeah, it's not supposed to be."
Yeah.
And other people are like, "Oh, this is awful. I feel so unpowerful."
Yeah.
So for some people, being athletic feels like crap, and that's where the hard part is. We gotta work through it. Just know that.
Yeah.
Don't worry about the ball. Don't worry about how it feels. Just worry about how it looks.
Yeah.
You're getting yourself in the right position, the feel will come, and then you'll be surprised how good it will feel eventually.
Yeah, exactly. With patience, right?
Yeah.
And so how many balls do you think you hit? And when you said you went to the gym, were you working out? You were working out, but you said you went to the gym to look in the mirror at your swing.
Yeah, literally. I would do like a little bit of workout. I was
warm.
Trying to be less. I was trying to get a little because it was all go back to I was trying to be athletic again.
Yeah.
I was trying to learn to be athletic, and so I was trying to do deadlifting and bench press and that kind of Olympic style stuff. I was doing that, and then but I would just go to the mirror. I would grab this. It was like a 10-pound bar. It was like the length of a golf club was like a bar.
Yeah.
And I would just do slow motion. I would just look in the mirror and just swing that as slow as I could. I mean, I'd be drenched in sweat, but I'd be slow as I could, swinging that thing, trying to fill those positions and just look at it in the mirror.
Yeah. That's crazy, man. You're a grinder. That's what's that's what's so cool is you've taken this stuff and the age you were and the position you were in life, and you had the time to grind out, and you wanted to, and you did it.
Exactly. Yeah. I was able to, and I did. It's like not everyone has that opportunity. Like not even now I can't even afford to work out the way I used to and practice the way I used to. But it works when you can. Obviously, it works.
Yeah, and so
now it's even. If I'm at work, I'll just, if I'm bored, even now I'll just start trying to play, just moving, just trying to, do swings, just trying to keep that feel. And, it would have been, for a time where it was 3 weeks, I didn't hit balls, then I went to the range, and the only thing I had done was just, try and practice those moves. And I couldn't tell the difference, I hit just as good as I had done before. I filmed it, it looked the same, So it's just keeping the muscles, keeping them myelinated and just knowing, you'll be good. You can make changes without hitting a golf ball.
Yeah, good call. Yeah, you just have to learn how to move, right?
Yeah, pretty much learn how to move.
That's awesome. And then Yeah, I don't know. I could probably talk forever about all this stuff. And then what's next for Victor Rodriguez? I
What's
guess like
next?
yeah, what's next as far as are
Just keep
you?
working on my swing. Really, I mean, I just you know now I'm just getting into more of the fine tuning. You know, I'm not gonna see any major differences in how my swing looks now.
Yeah,
And I'm just gonna try and fine tune everything. You know, as best as I can. You know, just work to eliminate the big misses even more.
yeah,
Um, work on putting a little bit. My short game has always been my short chipping has always been pretty decent.
yeah,
Learn to play golf a little bit more. I guess is
yeah,
what I'm gonna start really trying to do. Learn to play golf. You know, I'm still working my swing, but now I'm just gonna start learning how to play golf again.
yeah,
Because I would go out and shoot 61 all randomly. Playing golf swing, but I go to a tournament. And it's just so
yeah,
I want to play. I want to practice playing golf more
yeah,
again. I don't have a lot of tournaments set up this year. I want to try and raise enough money, see if I can go to Q school.
yeah,
Just because I've done it once already, when I got through the first part of it, but just so I know what to expect this time around.
yeah,
I think I should be able to do pretty good in it, and just keep bringing a swing, get rid of. I'm really trying to get into the teaching part of it. I really like that part. I want to see Kelvin's stuff grow. I want to see people learn how to play golf the right way. I want to grow the game. I want people to get better.
yeah,
So like a buddy of ours came out from New Jersey. Took a couple lessons.
yeah,
A couple of days with me, and stoked. Like if you saw the difference in some of the swings he had made, it was ridiculous. So
yeah,
I like that. I like that. I like seeing someone be like, "Holy crap! I can actually look like this. I can actually
yeah,
hit it farther." And so
yeah,
I want to get more into teaching part of it. And what I like about it too is like if I'm teaching someone how to do something, reminding myself as well.
yeah,
Like kind
yeah.
of go back to basics. Like, oh crap! Yeah, I forgot you gotta do this too.
Yeah, no doubt.
So,
The more you teach, that's how like Hogan and Snead and Byron and all the guys grew up. They were caddies, and then they were players, and then tournaments, and then they taught to like fund the first half of their golf careers until they started making money.
Yeah.
And yeah, you can learn a ton teaching, right?
Just from teaching.
Yeah, cool, man.
Yeah.
All right, bro. Thanks for the interview, man. I appreciate your time.
Anytime, buddy. Call me whenever.
Cool. I'm gonna call you right after this on a regular phone.